What's up, guys? We are live
Spoilers ahead, by the way.
from the Brojo. We're gonna try
Multiple
to wait till the very
spoilers.
end to do spoilers.
No.
I've got a better one.
Oh my god,
Why
we're
didn't we
recording.
just give them the warning ahead of time,
Oh.
though? There will be spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah,
we're going
I would
to.
assume if people click on this,
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Put
Yeah.
that in
we're
the
gonna
title. like you always
ruin
do.
just everything.
We're gonna ruin your
We're
happiness,
gonna
guys.
tell you the
Yeah, I was
premise-
like,
That movie
I'm gonna
ruined mine.
ruin what happens in the movie, and then I'm gonna ruin the movie for people that liked it. No, I did like it.
All right, I'm Kian, not Keith. I am here today with.
Eli, researcher in exile.
Why are
You
you?
forgot.
Why are you in? Are you in exile or were you exiled?
I'm supposed to research a person, and I didn't.
Ah.
So you're
So I'm
saying
in
you
exile.
will
I
be
exiled
exiled?
myself. Yeah.
Oh,
Out of shame. Warrior's way.
truly, the most majestic of ways.
And you are.
I'm a regular guy, Zach.
Gil didn't even make a depressing comment.
His comment was just his comment.
I mean, the
That's his
whole end
intro.
of the movie was depressing enough. I don't feel like I need to
Ian.
make an.
Lighten
What?
the mood. I was like, insult Kian, lighten the mood.
I mean, he pretty much insults himself.
All right, I'll take it.
Oh.
That's exactly what I was
Shit.
thinking in my
Ah.
head, actually.
Damn. Okay. So we actually just got done watching Avengers: Infinity Wars, and man, oh man, did I really enjoy this movie a lot.
Just because it had the best downer ending Marvel could have come up with.
Well, okay, so before
For whatever reason, depression just really gets you off, doesn't it?
as the so here's the brief synopsis. As the Avengers and their allies have continued to protect the world from threats too large for any one hero to hand, a new danger has emerged in Thanos. He's trying to collect all 6 Infinity Stones to inflict his twisted will on all of reality. So that's basically it. They have to team up and stop him. The first thing I want to bring up is that this is 10 years in the making. Like,
We were
it's
doing some mad math before.
yeah, we were, because it came
We're
out
trying
when
to figure out our ages when
like my
Iron
dude,
Man
it came
started
out when I was
off.
Do
14.
you remember where you were at when Iron Man came out?
I was yeah, no.
I don't.
There was no such thing as midnight releases yet. They had none of that stuff.
Which is really weird.
They didn't.
No.
That's been a new thing
They
for a
shit
while.
for games, didn't they?
Yeah, games.
Yeah, games had midnight releases.
Because
But
they
no,
were
in
like-
in
three
in
came out
Spen
before
well, like in
Well, okay.
Spencer, they didn't
Not
have
in
midnight
this area,
releases
yeah.
for a
Nobody
while.
gives a shit here.
I give a shit.
No one goes to
I
the
went to
movies
I mean, we
here.
give a shit now.
I went to those midnight releases.
10 years ago, no
Frickin'
one here
weirdo.
was liberal.
No, like I remember being 14 and watching Iron Man and being just amazed by that
Breaking
movie.
into the theater
He was
at midnight
14,
to watch
and then he
Iron
fell
Man.
in love hard.
I didn't watch Iron Man until last year, actually.
What the fuck, Zach?
Had you seen the other two?
No.
What the
Have
fuck,
you seen
Zach?
the other two?
No.
Do you?
What?
How do you not collect
I
any?
mean, they're not really important to the MCU, to be honest.
Well, they introduced Scarlett Johansson, and
She's in the
Mm.
first one.
no, she isn't. We've had this conversation.
She's
She
in the
is
second
not
one.
in the
God
first
damn
one.
it.
Yeah,
Right,
second one.
yeah.
But what I mean is that like when you watch Iron Man 1 and you're like, oh man, this is kind of grounded in like a reality, and then it's like 10 years down the line, Iron Man's fighting aliens. You're like, man, Iron Man back then would be like, the fuck, dude.
Well, and
Not
Iron Man at the
really.
time
Not
was just
really. He
like.
was fighting aliens before this.
You know,
I
like
mean, yeah, in the
Iron Man 1
Yeah, I
would
know
be
what you
like,
mean,
the
I know what
fuck,
you
dude.
Yeah, and it's and other shit where it's like, you know, now he's got a suit made of titanium and rocket boots and shit. It's like, whatever, that could be near future. Now he's got nanotechnology, it just forms wherever
He's
the fuck he
basically
feels
now
like.
just Iron Green Lantern because he can make just weapons,
The
weapons
Iron,
and
Iron Lantern.
the weapons and shields just
So,
fucking appear
regular
out of
Lantern.
like normal. He's like, hooah, sword. I was like, all right, that's cool. I can dig. I like the one thing about that suit though. Before I get into it, is that I like how like he only has a certain amount of nanotechnology before it starts running out. You see that in his fight with Thanos, because like part of his suit is going away to like form shit. So
I thought it was more that Thanos had ripped off parts of his suit.
Yeah,
So that
that's
was all
what
that
I
was
thought.
left.
yeah, but that still means he has like a limit of nanotechnology
Oh,
he
well,
carries with him. That's what I enjoy.
Why wouldn't he make self-replicating? That way you just have a consistent supply.
I don't
I'm pretty sure he could have thought of that.
Gil.
There were a lot of questions in this movie.
There's a lot of
and in the
questions.
comics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point we could just go with, he hasn't gotten that far in nanotechnology yet. But that'd be a stupid argument because screw you, he's a genius.
Tony Stark.
Like, my dude,
Exactly.
I legitimately enjoyed a lot of this movie. There was, the cool thing about this movie is that it felt like you were watching 3 movies, different, but then they all meet together nearing the end.
Kind of meet together.
Yeah.
Well,
Three
two of them.
concurrent stories merging into one.
2 of them met. Obviously Thor teams up at the end with everyone else. But for the most part, Iron Man's story was just a bottle story where it was just him and that team teaming up. But the way they integrated is that Thor met with them. I find it to be super interesting. I really enjoyed.
It's really a connection with the Marvel universe, cinematic universe.
Yeah, it's 10 years. Like I said, 10 years that they built this, and DC bitch ass is trying to be we only have 2 movies. Let's team up.
I feel like you and I wouldn't have gotten as much payoff as they did, considering we haven't seen every movie in the MCU.
Yeah.
I have not seen every movie. This movie made me want to go watch Guardians Volume 2.
It's a decent watch.
Yeah.
I just really liked Rocket Raccoon in this.
Yeah.
That being said, I really didn't like Gamora, so I did not care for that entire arc. I could go without it. I really don't care.
Her
Eli was
emotional.
eternally
It humanizes fucking Thanos, which, it's
That
like
fucking
whatever.
speech
He has to
before she
sacrifice her, and
died.
I just don't care.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert, she did die.
that entire speech and stuff, I was just like, yeah, she's gonna die, and somehow she's too dumb to realize she's
Yeah.
gonna die.
I was just like, you can just cut that out of the DVD release, please.
I mean, they put it in there to be impactful.
No.
She thinks that there's nothing
Oh.
that he cares about, and that's basically the way he's lived the whole time. But her hubris is that he loved her, and she never.
I
realized
think
that.
he loved all of his children,
No.
technically.
Not really.
Just Gamora.
No, yeah.
She...
Nebula was
Yeah.
getting fucked up, man.
Favoritism, so Gamora was favoritism as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I mean, he sent the other ones to basically die just to try to get the stones.
He was splitting Nebula apart when we saw her first.
And Gamora's the only one he offered food to.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because screw everybody else,
You didn't
Gamora's
see
his favorite.
Thanos crying when he was torturing Nebula.
Yeah, but she tried to fucking kill him. I would understand why I would
Gamora
not...
tried to
Gamora
kill
tried
him.
to kill him
Like
3
10
times
minutes.
in that movie.
No.
10 minutes.
We don't. Wait,
first
hold on.
interaction. They
We
tried- she tried to
we
kill
don't.
him.
Okay, we don't personally know whether or not Nebula was offered crispy wheats or anything like that. We just.
He kept her chained.
I know you just tried to
essentially
kill me,
chained
but
up.
And he
You
was
want some,
splitting her
Want some
apart.
Frosted
Doritos?
Flakes?
You want some Doritos?
They're great.
No, Thanos. It's a comic world. Thanos knows Frosted Flakes give people power, so he definitely would not give them that.
That's the power of the Infinity Stones.
We're not talking. It's the Tony Stones.
So what you're saying is that it
It's
wasn't
been Tony Stones.
it wasn't actually a radioactive spider that gave Peter Parker his powers.
It was Frosted
it
Flakes,
was
yeah.
a bowl
Full
of
of
a bound,
frosted
part of a balanced
balanced
breakfast.
Radioactive bowl.
Fair enough.
The bowl is radioactive.
It was the
Frosted Flakes are
Halloween
just
Frosted
the same.
Flakes that had spider shapes, so yeah.
Makes sense.
Speaking of which, I
The
really
radioactive
liked.
spider was in those, and you just thought it
Yeah.
was another one.
I really liked Peter Parker in this too. I thought he was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yeah.
I really
Just
like the entirety of Peter Parker.
yeah, I just thought he was.
Tom Holland does a
Yeah.
superb job. As
He's just
Peter.
stupid good at playing a high school
Oh, yeah.
student. The initial reintroduction to Peter Parker, he's like, Ned, I need you to cause a distraction. Oh my God, we're gonna die!
Well, that's because he wasn't really paying attention. That was his reaction.
Yeah.
Your movie self did a perfect
Oh,
job.
that is not. Oh, see, no.
You do me, Coco. I do you, Ned.
Okay, fine.
Eat a dick.
I can understand that. See, that's very understandable. I will
He's still the
accept-
better looking one, though.
Yeah, fuck.
Ouch.
Ooh, damn, that hurt. No, I really actually liked everyone.
Thank God I'm white.
There. Yeah, but Eli, you got to remember, because you're around a lot of brown people, you're now technically in a minority podcast.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
I mean,
I thought you were
John
gonna be like,
gets
that
here.
kind of makes you brown. I was like, no, it doesn't.
That's what I was-
Your last name makes you brown, because
I
it's
thought-
Eli Brown.
I thought that's where he was gonna go to.
No, but back
I mean,
on...
as soon as John gets here, he won't be in the minority bracket anymore. I'll be the only one in that bracket.
Touche. But like my thing that comes into this movie is that
half.
like
No, he's half. I'm full. That.
You were adopted. So close enough.
oh my god. Okay,
Let's
so
talk
like
about the movie.
back to
As far as I know, I'm full.
back to this though. Like I loved so I need to ask you. You hate Goofy Thor from Thor 3.
Yeah.
Do you mind him in this?
No, I hated that Thor was the one that was goofy. In this, he's a little more serious. But
He plays off of
does-
other people.
He plays dumb though. Like I think. That,
Yeah, and a lot of his jokes are kind of dumb. Like in Thor Ragnarok, I didn't mind it when he threw the fucking ball and like hit himself. That was funny because it's just like, oh, that's dumb. He thought he was gonna break it, fucking idiot. When he was being like sarcastic and snarky and stuff, it doesn't fit his character.
Or in the beginning when he was spinning around on the chain and it went
But,
around
like-
twice.
But yeah, like Rocket Raccoon has a thing where he's gonna steal fucking the Winter Soldier's arm and shit, and I thought that was hilarious.
White Wolf.
I-
Yeah, they renamed him the White Wolf.
I know.
I'm still trying to
Just
find
did-
a way that's not humorous. You got Black Panther and the White Wolf.
But he doesn't even wear anything to signify that
White
he's
Knight.
like
His arm is what signifies him as the White Wolf.
that he doesn't have a star anymore. Who knew?
By the way, why did the arm disappear?
I think they're-
That way that rocket could have gotten the arm so much easier.
You know what? It's the semantics of a
I
fucking
thought about
movie.
that because it's like everything disappeared, but then in the end credit scene, it's like the little like thing that Fury,
was holding.
yeah, Fury sends a message through.
Yeah.
Totally just drops to the ground. I was
But
like,
Bucky's gun didn't disappear either, though.
Yeah,
That's a
that-
thing
he
that
dropped that too, which is
Okay, sure.
yeah. I'm still confused. What are the rules for things?
Maybe
that
he
disappear?
did drop it. Maybe he dropped
no,
it.
because-
No, because
Maybe Nick Fury dropped it before.
he was holding
Yeah,
on to
he
it,
was
and then he
still
just
holding
like.
on
Oh
to
my
it.
god, I don't fucking know.
Like,
It's a
what are the
goddamn
rules
movie.
for
Pretty
these
dumb.
disappearances?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Like, why do you get to keep your clothes?
I also love
Shouldn't
how
you just like turn to ash and the clothes stay there? Or when you get resurrected, does Thanos just want you to be fully clothed so that doesn't cause an awkward situation?
Probably.
I'm just throwing it out there as well. The whole concept of Thanos kind of dumb because it's like in like the comics he wants to appease death because he's in love with her.
Mhm.
For some reason, it's a woman. And then
Deadpool fucks her.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not even a joke.
it's not
I-
even a joke.
In Deadpool comics,
It's
I believe anything.
It's
can
really
happen.
weird, but the point is that like that's his motivation, so that's why he kills people. In this, it's like I just want there to be balance, so like
I'm gonna
worlds
kill
don't
half
do
of
it.
the people.
But if he got the Infinity Stones, he could pretty much just create planets.
Or make a perfect utopia. Because, like, he can
or
change.
just like or just it's like oh, we have finite resources. It's like yeah, but these are Infinity Stones. Probably
The name is in it. It's
Keep making
infinite.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, at that point, you could just like, be God. He essentially was, and he just didn't do much with it. Like he could have brought back Gamora. We've discussed this. He
Mass
could have brought her
genocide.
back.
Like,
Just like, nah.
His whole thing is it's like, oh, this is a noble cause for him, and like people in the real world think that that's a thing that should happen, and it's just like, but if he has the Infinity Stones, he
He
could
wouldn't
just
have to
do
this.
other stuff that wouldn't be killing a shitload of people.
The Reality Stone could just make.
But
a
we
utopia.
wouldn't have the cool fights that we got, okay, Eli? Fuck. We wouldn't have had the Wakanda fight
I mean,
where
if-
everyone was screaming,
The
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda.
What I want to know is, his whole idea is to just kill off half of the people. But
Oh,
re-
if you want to finish first, I've got a question for you and Zach because I posed it to Kian.
Alright.
So he kills off half of every species. Is it every species? So like he kills half of the white-tailed deer and shit. That's my first question. Going on, Rocket Raccoon is technically a raccoon, but he's sentient. Does that make him his own species? And if so, he's the only one, or did he just happen to not die out of half the raccoons that were killed?
I believe he's
That's
in the
a very
sentient
good
animal
question.
division, and that's why Howard the Duck was not seen in the movie.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, that or Thanos could have killed him in his rampage.
Yeah, because he was on nowhere. Oh, that's
Yeah.
really sad, too. Like,
What? He probably enjoyed some roast duck.
no, I mean, like, I don't know. I kind of like Howard the Duck. Like, I wish he would have gotten his own movie.
He was a cameo. Eventually, they'll probably give him his
Wasn't
own
he the
movie
first
just for
Marvel
kicks and
movie?
giggles.
Oh, yeah. He was the first, really, by Lucasfilms, actually. Fun fact.
CGI.
They produced Howard the Duck and had duck titties. Yeah, that was a real thing in a PG movie. But back to this movie. I really, like I said, I love everyone's everyone has a moment. Like no one is just besides maybe Mantis and Drax, but everyone everyone who's important has their moment.
Mantis did help hold him, so that I guess that you could consider that her moment. But what I want to know is, they had a missed opportunity right there. They had him pinned. Knives can stab him. Why didn't they just stab him and kill him and just let him die?
I don't know, Gil. You're asking me questions like I'm the writer of this movie.
I'm just saying, this doesn't make sense from their perspective. I know they don't generally try to kill people, but this is a guy who's killed lots of people.
Yeah,
Was it
billions
said
of
that
people.
they needed something special to kill him?
No, because Gamora just stabbed him and cut him in the throat, and he was dying.
Well,
But that was
an
the
illusion,
reality, Jim. Yeah, that was an illusion.
Still, though, that would have hurt him. Her little thing that she got and tried to stab him again with was going
Turned
to
into
do something.
bubbles.
Yeah.
I also don't know what that's made of.
I mean, they were going to
It
do
could
a
be
bunch
super
of things.
titanium, big penis adamantium metal. Who knows?
At that point, why don't they just run him down with a ship?
They tried.
Not a whole ship.
Oh my god, Gil. I really liked a lot of this movie. There was obviously small nitpicks questioning what is half of a world and shit like that. But
At that point, then, though, that's another thing. You're gonna kill off half of everybody, but eventually, 3 generations, you'll be back at the same problem.
right. But I also think Marvel is starting to realize how good they can make their villains. Where Thanos is fucking crazy, but at least he commits to what he's doing. Comparatively to a lot of the other Marvel villains that are just I'm evil. Ha 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 ha. Thanos and even Killmonger were 2 villains that Marvel really, really needed, because they needed a more diverse storytelling than this guy's evil and hates the hero, so we're just gonna fuck them up. These guys have legitimate Thanos' end-all goal was not, I hate the Avengers, fuck you. He's I just want to make the world a better place.
So
Killmonger's in general was also he didn't technically hate Wakanda. He's just I want...
He hated their rules and he
Well,
wanted to
yeah,
rule them.
He kind of hated Wakanda as an entity.
Yeah. And he wanted to change the status quo.
And then they made him into a douchebag
Yeah.
who chokes out old people.
Yeah. Comparatively to
He wasn't that much of a great scope villain. Thanos did it better. He was just a
Well,
guy
yeah,
who hated...
Thanos did it way better, but I do think Killmonger was pretty good.
I think Killmonger's an awesome villain, though.
He seemed so generic.
Really? I didn't think so, though. I think he was
How
the
wasn't
least...
he generic? He was basically Black Hitler.
Well, no, but
How
you
much
think-
more vanilla and
think of
generic does that
people-
get?
Well, no, but you think
They
of people,
had Red Skull, which was basically
That-
Hitler of that universe.
That's what I was about to say, though. But you have people like Red Skull, who's back, and then
Back
Told
again.
ya!
But he's like, yeah, I want power and I want to kill people. Whereas you've got fucking Killmonger who
Wanted power.
Killmonger-
Wanted to kill people.
he wanted to
Killmonger
change Wakanda
wanted-
and he did want to kill people, but he
Killmonger
wanted.
wanted to be able to have the black people everywhere else be able to
Yeah,
defend
he
themselves,
basically
wasn't
he
it?
wanted black people on top, but
So Black
He wanted
Hitler.
he wanted a social change. Whereas...
No, he wanted to kill everybody and put black people in
That's
power.
a social change.
He wanted to do genocide. He didn't. He wanted
that's
black
still
people on
technic-
top by killing
My
all
dude,
the
that's
white
still
people.
technically
However,
a social change.
my point
That's
is,
a change in social status.
So you're saying
not-
Hitler wanted a social change?
I mean,
No, that's genocide.
they're-
That's what he wanted too.
They're a little different, but the point is that even Killmonger, at least he had a reason, whereas Red Skull was like, "Fuck it, I'm a Nazi, kill him." That was pretty much his reason.
And then you have
Not even
but then you have
better.
people what I'm trying to say.
That's just thinly veiled.
Why do we always get back with Hitler and Nazis when we fucking talk? God,
Because Red Skull was a Nazi.
Yeah, I know.
What do you want?
We had this last week.
Killmonger
though.
was basically Black Hitler.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. How wasn't he?
I mean,
He wanted a people to rise up into power and cause genocide. That's Black Hitler.
Well, no, but he didn't want to genocide like everyone.
Neither did Hitler.
He pretty much wanted to genocide.
All right, back to the fucking movie. Moving this.
He was killing other white
circling
people.
around,
Jesus.
circling this back around to the movie.
Oh my god.
And I liked bringing back Wakanda, and I like how it was an extension of Black Panther, and wasn't like people are like, oh, it's Black Panther too. It's not. It's just, it's.
That's because they didn't spend half the movie in there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I liked about having Wakanda back.
It was just
And
a scene.
I really liked having Shuri back because she was actually one of my favorite characters.
Only got like 5 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, but
Is that
she
his
schooled.
sister?
Yeah, she schooled Bruce Banner, dude.
Yeah.
To be fair, they did that like how many years ago? At this point, Tony has nanotech. I'm pretty sure you would have thought of it again.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And Bruce has been gone.
Bruce has been the Hulk for 2 years
Yeah, and now he doesn't want to. And now the Hulk doesn't want to come out. So
because
like,
he's
Yeah,
scared.
that was really weird.
he was scared.
Mhm.
That's weird.
He got beaten down in like the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I know, but that was a really weak fight. I don't get that one, to be honest.
Well, Thanos is a skilled warrior, whereas Bruce Banner
And then
and
you have
Slash
people
Hulk.
like Iron Man and fucking Doctor Strange are fighting Thanos when he has the goddamn Infinity Stones, and they do a decent job, whereas it's just like the Hulk gets beaten down by just Thanos punching
And-
the shit out of him.
Don't forget a teenager in Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. He also did a pretty decent job.
I like how you need
too.
to say that he's Spider-Man.
And also a teenager, but
Because it's even worse.
I mean, they weren't
that
trying
being
to.
said, I
stop
really
him.
like the Iron Spider.
Yeah.
Yeah, that suit's really cool. I know. I
don't
had.
like the Iron Spider.
I was very iffy about the Iron Spider suit showing up because I'm like, I don't know, it looks weird, and it actually turned out really, really nice.
Didn't John say he didn't like the design
He looked.
either?
He said it looked too cartoony and fake.
But it looked fine.
But you do have to remember though, when that first trailer came out, the CGI rendering was not finished,
Yeah.
and it still doesn't look good because to me Thanos still looks like purple Homer Simpson. So.
What I want to know though is, whatever happened to Karen? Suit lady.
Suit Lady.
Oh, from Homecoming? I don't fucking know.
I didn't watch Homecoming, unfortunately. I still want to see it.
I can't
It's
answer
good.
that either.
I don't know.
I know it's good.
There's a lot of shit there's a lot of people you don't see.
There's
Everyone
so
was
many
hyping
things-
Hawkeye being in the movie, and no, they just
We
give
can't
it through.
have him. He's off doing civilian things.
Well, yeah, but his family
And
will
as a
probably
family.
die, and then he'll be in there.
Yeah.
Same thing
You
with
killed
Ant-Man.
my family.
If I had
Prepare
to
to
take
die.
a guess, Ant-Man and Wasp will come back in.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious what Avengers 4 has in stock. Like, this movie makes me want
I hope they bring villains into it, but I know they
Avengers 4.
won't.
Yeah, I would like the Masters of Doom. I think that'd be a dope
I mean,
Masters of Evil. Like,
I'm not gonna bring all of them in there.
they have Baron Zemo, but that's the thing. Like, they
That's
have
what I mean
Baron
is I hope
Zemo.
that, like-
Zemo was currently on
I hope.
lockdown.
Well, yeah,
I
but
know,
I hope they
but,
like
like-
bring Zemo in. They're like, oh man, half the Avengers are dead. We need some people. It's like, well, Baron Zemo's still alive because fuck it. It's like, oh shit, bring him in here. See if he'll.
We're like, no, where I stand with, like, the Masters of Evil possibly being there is that, like, they still could legitly, like, in my opinion, like, they're called Infinity, like, they have the Reality Stone and shit, like, I fucking bet that this is their loophole to, like, bring back, like, Quicksilver and shit like that, now that, like, X-Men is probably coming back to the Marvel Universe, that they're like, oh, we could use the Infinity Stones and be like, blap,
Oh boy.
X-Men, blap, Fantastic
I
Four,
actually completely forgot about Quicksilver.
blap, Quicksilver.
Okay, so you say Killmonger is a good villain. I think Zemo did it better.
yeah.
He had a clear-cut motive, and he did it well.
thought Zemo
Yeah,
was
I like
really
Zemo
good.
was good.
Yeah, but then he, like, sucked at the very end, though. He kind of just...
What do you
I mean, he
mean?
sucked at the end.
What do you?
He
what?
accomplished
He
his
was a
goal.
regular
Yeah.
guy.
He
yeah.
wanted to
broke
break
up
up the
the
Avengers.
Avengers.
He did what he wanted to. He
Alright.
almost got away with killing himself, too.
Yeah.
That was
Is
his
that
end
what
goal.
you think made him weak? Because he wanted to kill himself?
Or just because there was a like fight against him because he's just a regular guy.
No, I like the psychological game. I just kind of think that, like, it would have been better if he would have just, like, been in the shadows the rest of the entire time and would have not have gotten caught. I think that would have been a lot better. Like, obviously...
Well, he was gonna kill himself. He wanted to have a good view.
Alright, back to the fucking movie in hand again.
Fair enough.
Good God.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Infinity Wars encompasses all these other movies that are going to get brought in, goddammit.
Yeah, but they... Yeah, okay, fine. Jesus. God. No, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Like I said, like, I enjoyed... Basically, I loved Peter Quill interacting with people from Earth because you don't get that. And, like...
Missouri
He's
is
been gone
Earth,
for 20
dipshit.
Yeah, he's been gone for like 28 years, and like just the first thing he's like, "Who is your master?" He's like, "What am I supposed to say? Jesus?" I'm like, I love that line so much because it's something like someone from
So
Missouri
human.
would probably say, like,
Not Missouri.
I don't know if you've been to Missouri, Gil.
I've never been to
It's
Missouri.
not
so-
great.
No, I really did like. Again, I think the weaker points of it is obviously the side characters that we don't really get to know very much. Like, you know, obviously the side characters like Drax, Mantis, Falcon. They obviously don't have time to shine because they're not the main. Like, there's probably no one that's like, oh man, I can't wait for Avengers Infinity War so I can see Falcon.
There probably was someone who was
Probably,
actually
yeah.
thinking that.
There's probably.
Just
I
on
mean, there's
Falcon?
people out there who just like Falcon.
Yeah.
Just like,
What's wrong with you?
I like Anthony Mackie. I think he's funny as fuck, and I like really enjoy it. But like, but no
What
one's
I'm
gonna.
disappointed in
Like-
is this movie didn't have enough Hannibal Buress.
I think Falcon is the dumbest superhero.
Because he's
He's like discount Iron Man. Like Rhodey is just better than Falcon,
yeah.
and they kind of show that in the fight. It's like Falcon's
Rhodey
got,
is dropping napalm on aliens.
yeah,
And Falcon's just using his fucking guns.
yeah, he's got fucking I don't
Two
know, some
pistols?
yeah, some sort of handgun, and
then
basically
drones.
a jetpack.
Mark
Yeah.
11s or some shit like that.
And then the birds.
Yeah, he has drones.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think, like I said, it was a good movie. It did what it was supposed to do. It's supposed to give you hype.
Also, anyone find it hilarious that when he was charging Thanos, he turned his wings into kites? That's awesome.
How does Thanos know about this shit, though?
You think that kites are exclusive to Earth? Every place in space we've seen has advanced technology. You don't think somewhere someone was like, huh, this flies. Let's put it on a string. Let's fly it up in the air. We'll call it a kite.
I don't think they'd call it a kite. They'd probably call it something else.
Space kite.
Space kite. No, like, I just really, like I said, a lot of this movie had me hyped. Like, I had fun throughout this entire movie.
It was a
The
great
first 5 minutes, the interaction between Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, I'm just like, I love it.
Yeah.
I really like Doctor Strange, though. Like, he's like, before the movies or anything came out, I read Doctor Strange comics and I fucking loved him. So, like, to see him actually there really gets me. It's like, Doctor Strange and Iron Fist were two of my favorite comic book characters. Marvel did one wrong.
But they made up for it with the other.
They made up for every other one, and I'm really excited by this.
Well, they at least broke even.
Yeah. I'm really... Well, I mean, like, I guess, like, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are, like, a duo for me, so, like, they
Work better together.
were... Well, I mean, like, they did... Marvel did good more than they did bad to me. Because I really like Luke Cage. But, like, the one thing that really gets me is that, like, you can kind of tell that, like, there's no, as bad as it sounds, like, you know that there's not much of an impact, though, for this end. Like, you know that they're gonna...
Because Thanos will return.
Yeah. And you know what's, like, you have an idea of what's gonna happen, because, like, you see the set photos of all of them, like, still filming for Avengers 4. So you basically know that that's not, like...
The end.
Yeah. So I think that's what, like, but this, it has such a gravitas, though, because, like, you expected, because, like, they said that they weren't going to do Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2, that this was just going to be its own self-contained story, and that they beat Thanos. But they don't, and that's what I really enjoyed about it.
That it's leading up to another movie that's
Right.
individual of this.
Right.
It's no longer an Infinity War.
Right.
At this point, they just have to try to get everything back.
Right. And I think that's what makes it interesting, and I think
Infinity
that's what
Return.
makes it fun. To know that, like, this movie...
No, hold on. Considering the theme for movies names nowadays, it'll probably be in Avengers 4, Fallout.
Oh God.
Breakdown.
Rampage.
There we go.
Destruction. But no, like
Take over.
The Rock.
for this to be like, for Iron Man to start at such a high note for their cinematic universe, and to have their 10-year anniversary end with this being
The lowest note they've
the
had.
lowest note they've had ever. Not in like a bad movie, but in like the tonal shift of a movie. It's just like, that's why I'm glad Ant-Man and Wasp is coming out, because like Black Panther, relevant, is like super good, like really, really well made, and like not positive ending, but not bad ending at the same time, you know?
Well, they got Bucky back.
Right. But then Infinity Wars is just like, fuck it, everyone, boom. And like, I'm really hoping Ant-Man and Wasp like brings it back up just a little bit. Not to Thor 3 level of like goofiness, but to bring up,
Equilibrium.
yeah. Like, you know,
The
Thor
balance.
3, that's the thing, like Thor 3, Eli's like, oh, there's too much joy. Black Panther, it's good enough joy. Avengers Infinity Wars,
Why'd you do this to me, Marvel? Why?
Marvel killing off everyone I loved. I think the one thing we also talked about is that like Peter Parker disintegrated way slower than everyone else.
Yeah.
Not true. There was also Doctor Strange, which I don't like that.
That's a good
He's
point.
like, there was no other way. At that point, you just know he's gonna die. Then he slowly starts to fade away. I think he went out like a bitch
I
with
also
that
don't get why
line.
it was like there was no other way. Because it's like, oh man, everyone except Tony Stark and Nebula, like out there, died, and it's just like, man, he could have just not given him the stone. They could have just died anyway, it'd been fine.
Why couldn't he just like transport them back to Earth? Is what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
I think his magic only has so much leeway, technically.
I don't
It's
know.
magic.
I don't know. How
You
they
can
fucking
defy
power
reality.
Man, I don't
one
fucking
works.
know, okay? He tried to throw Thanos in the mirror dimension and it didn't work, okay, Gil?
Yeah, I think he just blocked an attack more than that.
And then he turned things into butterflies. I don't know. Doctor Strange can do some dumb shit,
But
okay?
apparently he can't make a portal back to Earth. Can copy himself like 20 times, but can't make a portal back to Earth.
I think the one thing that really makes me like happy is that like Scarlet Witch is doing like Dragon Ball Z moves, trying to get like
Eh.
Vision's fucking thing off. And I'm like, this makes me hopeful that one day Hollywood will be able to make an anime movie.
No,
I
it's just like with video games. It doesn't work.
really didn't understand.
No, Tomb Raider and Rampage are really good. I think we're going up now.
What?
No. I've heard Tomb Raider was awful. I don't want
Really?
to watch it. It just sounds garbage.
Really?
These
I
two liked it.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah, but
enjoyed
Kian
it.
likes everything.
I
Except
don't,
things that are good.
I don't like
Eli?
everything.
Eli.
Eli's
I-
contrarian. I'll
I
give him a
mean-
pass.
Yeah, but I watched that when it came out.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
I also still haven't seen it. So.
I mean, I thought it was like, okay, back, circling back around.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about Avengers. I don't remember what it was now.
I really enjoyed the Avengers, though. Like, I
Oh.
really,
There one like I don't even. He had a name, I'm sure, and I don't remember what it was. It was like the one guy they shoot out into space.
Ebony Maw.
Okay. Just like for one, he seems like he's way more powerful than Thanos, for some reason. Like,
'Cause he
Because
just
he's
waves
a
his
fucking
hand.
telepath that can
yeah.
make shit,
Just like,
turn
Like,
bricks into
I don't know-
fucking
yeah,
darts.
I don't know why he's serving anyone, but I was also just surprised he died.
I'm glad he
Kind
died.
of like that.
I didn't like him very much.
I mean, I didn't like him either. I just figured he'd
He kind
go
of went out
on
of a
longer.
bitch way, in all honesty.
I like
He deserved
Squidward.
that.
I just figured he'd go on longer and he might come back because it shows him frozen in space. But
Yeah. Also, that aliens reference.
What?
That aliens reference.
Oh yeah.
So many. I love Peter Parker.
Yeah.
All right.
Because, especially because it's a
Kid watches
young
more
kid,
movies than me.
a young kid looking at all these, thinking that they're old and cool and really weird, and then he compares this to like Tony Stark, who's seen everything and was there for when that stuff came out. And he's like, eh.
I love his
Just
interaction
makes that
with Footloose.
split. Just like that split between.
Is it still the greatest movie ever?
It never
No,
was.
It never was.
Just like that age gap and that difference in viewpoints.
Because like Peter Quill is still such a little like a teenage kid himself.
And then Peter Parker is a teenager.
Yeah, and like they just play off really really well.
Maybe he wasn't talking about the original. Maybe he was talking about the
See, that's what I was thinking.
The remake.
And I like the idea that like Quill is like honored to be called Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, so let's circle it around and let's give our final thoughts on the movie.
Our fourth time circling back.
Yeah,
around,
but our final thoughts on the movie.
The wheel in the sky
That
keeps on turning.
Back to what we were talking
Terrible.
about. But yeah, we.
Did you hear him singing that when the first time that thing was
No.
in the sky?
The donut.
No, all I could think of is I was like, and this is how Halo started.
And so I really really enjoyed this movie a lot. Like I said, the things that I have a problem with some of the side characters is that like they obviously didn't get enough screen time a lot. I don't think like Vision I think Vision was a little bit more boring than everyone else was in that, and so was Scarlet Witch because they didn't really do much either.
I thought Vision was stronger than
Really?
they portrayed him. I thought he
Oh
was.
yeah,
at
then they
least.
portrayed him. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they had been fucking with the stone on his head, so.
And he was stabbed with a knife that wouldn't let him heal.
yeah, and they wouldn't
Didn't
let him
Scarlet
heal.
Witch heal him though?
No,
She
he was
tried.
mending him up,
Oh.
trying to. But
Oh.
all in all, like for such a grand scale movie, it turned out really, really well. Cause like we really didn't know how it was gonna turn out. Like there was like over 30 plus superheroes in one movie, and it was awesome. Eli did not like Peter Dinklage being a dwarf, and the irony of the
I just thought
dwarf
it was
being he was
weird. I
super
didn't
tall.
say I didn't like it.
He was super tall, and I thought it was really funny. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
So it was Peter Dinklage.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely was.
so by the end of this, I still give it a solid 8 out of 10. Like I really, really I like the visuals. Thought it was very appealing. Obviously, if you have not seen almost all of the Marvel movies, there's some things you won't understand. Like this is probably like you should probably have at least seen the ones that have Infinity Stones in them to
There are
understand the
people
basis.
that made lists. You can probably look
Yeah.
at
I
it.
was gonna say there was only one thing in the entire movie I didn't get, and that was
Was
who
it a
that
Guardians reference?
yeah, who Mantis was apparently.
hmm
Yeah.
And I love that. I love I think one of my favorite scenes is is Peter Quill feeling demasculated when Thor's around, trying to like one up him with everything.
Was those jokes
About
like,
him one sandwich away from being.
Yeah,
about
him
him
being-
actually being fat? and
No, when
all
he
that
was
all
Fat
the
Pratt, yeah.
Alright, that's what we were wondering.
When he was Andy
Yeah.
Dwyer, like he was chubby, so like they just make that joke.
That's what we were figuring.
Yeah.
So actually, like one of the fun facts about Guardians of the Galaxy is that like James Gunn liked Chris Pratt so much that even if he didn't lose all that weight, he would have still had Fat Star-Lord in there.
That would have been awesome.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was pretty exciting. I really enjoyed it, and again, solid 8. I still loved Goofy Thor. Like I know Eli hated Ragnarok, but like Goofy
He wasn't
Thor.
nearly as bad in this one.
Yeah.
Mostly because he kind of split off from everyone else. Which
And I
was
love his
really
interaction with Rocket Raccoon. And I love
The
all
rabbit.
the yeah,
Rabbit Raccoon.
Rabbit Raccoon, Rocket Rabbit. Yeah, fuck.
Rocket
But like
Rabbit.
I loved all the mini comic book nods that I knew about that was in the movie, so it made me really really stoked to see what happens next. Like we have a news story where James Cameron is like, man, I hope superhero movies dies because they're so boring, but you made Avatar, so fuck you, James Cameron. But I really really recommend this movie. It's fun. It's actually kind of heartfelt by the end of it. And
Pansy.
fuck you. It's actually kind of heartfelt, like where they go with this, and like I can only imagine how the Marvel universe is going to change because of this. Like, what do you do after this? You literally fought reality. Like, what do you do after this?
Make
Besides
Ant-Man and Wasp, and then a story that happened 30 years ago.
Captain Marvel, yeah. So go see it. It's fun.
What I like what they did with the ending is it's basically a comic book. some comic books ended on a cliffhanger and there was no happy ending.
Right, and you're right. This is
So we're
definitely
waiting for the next issue, essentially.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of people that were thinking that the ending was just gonna be, oh, everyone's alive, we won, hooray!
No, I figured at least some people would die.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but I know that there are probably
But, you know,
some people out
Right
there
in the
that were
beginning,
thinking
they
that.
kill some people. So.
I mean, I thought all the first Avengers most of the first Avengers would.
Fun fact: all the first Avengers are alive.
Yes.
So
Well, as far as we know,
Technically-
we don't know about Hawkeye.
Yeah, I was gonna say he could have just disintegrated wherever he.
they
is.
have footage, like photos with him with the Empire release of the magazine. So like, technically speaking, the assumption is he's still alive. Because I think Avengers 4, I think is going to be that magnum opus of the Avengers,
First
The
scene-
original ones, at
where the
least.
original ones are going to be there and like pass the torch.
He'd probably die.
Yeah.
First scene in Avengers 4, he just dies.
Except for Iron Man, he'll probably retire, have kids, or die.
He'll
Probably die.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna die. See, that's another thing. Like, just because like you don't want to be a superhero anymore doesn't mean they can't be replaced.
Old man Stark.
Terrence Howard.
I'm
But-
not saying that Iron Man, Iron Man is going to die. Tony Stark will probably die.
Oh, probably. Yeah, most likely. Who knows?
Same with
Who
Steve
knows?
Rogers, because I'm pretty sure Chris Evans said he didn't want to
Yeah.
do this anymore.
Yep.
All right. So
I
what do
mean,
Oh,
you guys
essentially,
think?
you just get typecast, and then it's hard to find another role in Hollywood. So
Yeah,
it's
but now he
kinda
has an awesome mustache. Now he's Captain Merc.
Wasn't that for the Broadway show though?
8 out of 10.
So why, Eli?
Because I liked it. It was a good movie. What?
8 out of 10.
Yeah. And now
Okay.
I'm going to go back and watch the other Guardians.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Rocket Raccoon is pretty funny in this one.
You didn't like Rocket Raccoon in the first one?
Not really, no.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, honestly, like, this movie would be, like, higher up, but I just really hated the Gamora parts. Like, they were
Since he
ass.
doesn't have an eyeball anymore, would he get pink eye, considering that was up Rocket's butt?
And he could still get a minor infection.
Yeah, true.
What do you give it, Gil?
I mean, he's as Guardian. I think they're immune to a lot of shit.
Yeah, fair. 8 diarrhea eyeballs out of 10.
I dig it, yeah. Because it's just a...
It's been a lot of build-up for... I've kept up with most of the movies. It was a great payoff, and, I mean, we still got more to come. This just shows that we're going to get better. Even if it
hope.
doesn't all end badly.
Yeah.
I'll also give it an 8 out of 10.
I mean, it's better than the DC. I mean,
It really
Yeah,
was a great
yeah.
payoff from what I've seen from most of the Phase 1 and Phase 2 movies. Haven't seen any Iron Man movies, sorry guys.
That
Hey,
fucking
do
blows
this.
my mind, though.
Okay, I did see a little bit of Iron Man
Oh,
1
fuck.
and 2 because they've been on TV quite a bit these past few months. So I've seen bits and pieces.
you say that, but you still know that he hasn't watched Space Jam.
Yeah, I know.
But it was a
That's
great
all.
balance between humor and seriousness, too, to me. And there were a couple plot holes that did bother me that we brought up already. Like with the disintegration and all that stuff.
No, that's actually very
Why he didn't
understandable.
revive Gamora.
Yeah. Yeah, the Gamora speech before she died. I was just like, are you serious? You can't tell that he's gonna kill you?
Yeah. Glad she died, though.
Yeah.
Not a huge
Well,
fan of the
I mean-
character. She's gonna come back.
I thought
Yeah.
the action sequences at the end were pretty good too.
I hope, like, Red Skull, like, steals her soul or something. Brings him back. She stays dead. That'd be fantastic.
I did really like the fight scenes. I think that was like
The choreography
Yeah,
on that was
choreography pretty
fantastic.
cool.
Yeah, it's
So what we're saying is go see Avengers. It's really fun. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to. You don't have to. And have a good night.